If you've ever thought, I need a family car, but also one that makes the neighbors faint when I start it, welcome to the wild world of the super SUV. For years, Lamborghini's Urus has been the undisputed champ of this niche. Part SUV, part supercar, and all ego. But now Ferrari, the eternal rival from down the Italian highway, has arrived at the cookout with the Purosangue. And let's just say, things are about to get spicy. The birth of the super utility vehicle. Before the Lamborghini Urus, the idea of a super SUV sounded like an oxymoron. SUVs were supposed to haul groceries, Labrador retrievers, and screaming toddlers, not rocket to 60 miles per hour faster than a Porsche 911. But Lamborghini saw the future. Wealthy families who wanted to look outrageous while still fitting 2 car seats and a stroller in the back. The Urus wasn't just an SUV with a badge slapped on, it was a revolution. It blended the exotic flair of Lamborghini's supercars with the utility of an everyday hauler, creating a whole new category, the super utility vehicle, SUV 2.0. Suddenly, Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and even Bentley were scrambling to play catch-up, like kids trying to copy the homework of the class genius. Ferrari, however, doesn't do catch-up, they do grand entrances. Instead of rushing a competitor to market, they spent years in secret, quietly brewing a response. And when the Purosangue finally arrived, it wasn't just another SUV. Ferrari made sure to position it as something above and beyond, a car that just happens to have 4 seats and a trunk, while still carrying the DNA of Maranello's finest supercars. Engines that belong in posters, not parking lots. Let's start with the Urus SE, Lamborghini's latest evolution of their wildly popular SUV. At its heart is a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8, the same basic architecture found in various Volkswagen Group cousins. But Lamborghini doesn't just borrow, it modifies, tunes, and cranks things up until the engine practically breathes fire. In the new SE model, they've added hybridization, and the result is a jaw-dropping 789 horsepower. That's nearly 800 horses under the hood of something that weighs as much as a small house. Acceleration, a blistering 3.4 seconds from 0 to 60 miles per hour. That's fast enough to make your passengers regret not signing a waiver before getting in. And thanks to clever launch control systems and precise throttle calibration, the Urus doesn't just sprint, it catapults. Ferrari, being Ferrari, wasn't about to follow the hybrid crowd just yet. Instead, they went old school in the most glorious way possible, a naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12. Yes, in an era where everyone else is slapping on turbos or plugging in charging cables, Ferrari decided to double down on the kind of engine that belongs on posters and bedroom walls. It produces 715 horsepower, slightly less than the Urus SE on paper, but the drama, the sound, and the purity of that V12 are unmatched. And performance? The Purosangue rockets to 60 miles per hour in 3.2 seconds. That makes it not only faster than most SUVs, but quicker than many so-called sports cars. To put it in perspective, your practical family hauler is beating cars that teenagers still use as wallpapers on their iPhones. Launch control drama. Of course, no car is perfect. The Urus SE, with its razor-sharp launch control system, is the master of the traffic light drag race. The moment you mash the throttle, the car's computers orchestrate a symphony of power delivery, traction, and grip that hurls you forward without hesitation. It's the sort of seamless drama that makes you wonder if Lamborghini secretly hired NASA engineers. The Purosangue, on the other hand, struggles just a bit. While its raw numbers are incredible, its launch control isn't quite as efficient. That naturally aspirated V12 takes just a hair longer to build the torque it needed for the perfect start. The result? In a heads-up drag race, the Lambo often gets the jump, while the Ferrari clears its throat before screaming past. It's the automotive equivalent of a heavyweight boxer needing a second to warm up before landing the knockout punch. Platform wars, family DNA versus clean slate. Here's where the car's philosophies diverge. Lamborghini, being part of the Volkswagen Group, built the Urus on the same platform as the Audi Q7, Bentley Bentayga, and Porsche Cayenne. Sure, it's like having cousins in different social circles, but Lamborghini dressed theirs in a sharper suit with DNA borrowed from the Revuelto and futuristic Lanzador concept. Ferrari, in contrast, basically scribbled a new design from scratch. The Purosangue shares only a faint whisper with the Roma before taking off in its own direction. With sleek curves, recessed headlights, and dramatic rear suicide doors, it looks less like an SUV and more like a Ferrari supercar that decided to hit the gym and bulk up. Interior: step inside the Urus, and you're greeted with dual touchscreens that look suspiciously Audi-like. Lamborghini tries to disguise it with fighter jet-inspired switches, a flip-up start button, and paddle shifters that scream Top Gun. Customization options are endless. If you want pink leather with neon stitching, Lamborghini will probably say, why not, as long as your credit card clears. Ferrari, meanwhile, kept things minimalist. Gone is the central touchscreen. Instead, you get a massive driver display showing either the iconic yellow tachometer or a navigation map so crisp it makes your iPad jealous. The steering wheel has capacitive touch controls, which may confuse your grandma. And the passenger even gets their own infotainment display, perfect for arguing about directions in glorious 4K. Practicality: the part everyone pretends to care about. This is where Lamborghini says, checkmate. The Urus offers 21.75 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear seats, plenty of room for groceries, luggage, or, let's be honest, the shopping spree you went on after flexing at the dealership. Fold the seats down and it expands to 56.4 cubic feet. That's SUV territory. The Purosangue, a more modest 16.7 cubic feet. It's roomy for a Ferrari, but modest by SUV standards. Worse or better, depending on your lifestyle, it only comes with 4 bucket seats. Ferrari figured if you're rich enough to buy one, your kids don't carpool, they have chauffeurs. Design showdown: loud versus lithe. The Urus is all sharp edges, towering stance, and angular aggression. It looks like it was designed with a ruler and a shot of espresso. You see it in your rearview mirror, and you immediately move over. The Purosangue, by contrast, is sleek, flowing, and curvaceous. From some angles, it resembles the GTC4 Lusso, Ferrari's now retired shooting brake. It's less angry bull and more athletic panther, with suicide doors that add just the right amount of theater. Price tags. Let's talk money. The Lamborghini Urus SE starts at about $237,848. That's not exactly pocket change, but in the rarefied air of super SUVs, it's almost practical. Options will of course push that number well into the stratosphere, but at least it's within sight of reality. The Ferrari Purosangue, $393,350 to start. Yes, you could buy 2 Urus SUVs and still have money left for a Vespa. Worse, getting your hands on one is like trying to reserve front row seats at a Beyonce concert. Demand is sky high, and many buyers pay even more on the secondary market just for the privilege of saying, yes, it's the Ferrari with 4 doors. Personality check: which horsepower suits you? The Urus SE is for the driver who wants everyday usability wrapped in an Italian suit. It's brash, loud, and unapologetically over the top, but you can still fit a week's worth of Costco runs inside. The Purosangue is for the purist who believes V12 should never die and who values exclusivity over practicality. It's sleek, elegant, and dramatic, more of a statement piece than a family hauler. Think of it this way: the Urus is the extrovert at the party who knows everyone's name. The Purosangue is the mysterious guest in a tailored tux who arrives late, doesn't talk much, but still steals the spotlight. And that wraps up our showdown between the Lamborghini Urus SE and the Ferrari Purosangue. So, which one would you take home? If you enjoyed this battle of speed, style, and sheer ridiculous luxury, make sure to hit that like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your engines loud and your drives legendary.